Dogs are loving and caring, and cats just independent and selfish, self-serving. Something along those lines. I think we've all heard it described that way or something similar. Canines, for as much as I personally love them, they have always carried the torch in terms of the court of public opinion when it comes to love, affection, and loyalty, compared to cats. I mean, dogs are man's best friend, after all. However, are cats truly selfish? Is it all about them all the time? Is everything they do just a means to an end so they can come out smelling like a rose, getting what they want, having what they need? In this material, I'll talk about what makes your cat tick, why cats travel the self sufficient road and the self preservation road more than the highway of pure selfishness. Complex topic for sure, and I've got you covered. Stay tuned. In order to understand felines, it's important to realize where they stand within their own world. In short, your cat is both predator and prey. They hunt and they are the hunted. Cats in the wild, they have to get what they can while also being guarded and sheltered from a possible attack. It's a hard way to live, and cats enter the world with one eye forward and one eye looking in that rearview mirror. I've mentioned it various times in several videos on this channel that cats are self-serving. And in many ways, it's indeed true. It's instinctual, it's who they are, it's who they have to be. Felines don't really have the luxury of letting that guard down and being content in just any scenario. This is why many feral cats have that deer in the headlights look when they see a person. Everything and everyone is the enemy until proven otherwise. This is how many cats, especially cats that live off the land, this is how they operate, how they must operate. Food, water, shelter, overall protection. That's the agenda, that's the goal. And sometimes to achieve that goal, the concept of making friends, that's not part of the plan. The worry and concern, it's all about taking care of yourself and having your essential needs met. Only when cats have enjoyed the good life, the loving home life for many, many years, can they truly grow comfortable in their surroundings and to some degree attempt to shed that desire to have the world just be all about them and their wants and their needs. Until that day arrives, cats have to take care of themselves, and they're proud to do it. If your cat could talk, especially your healthy adult cat, they probably say they appreciate the love and the place to stay, but I've got this. I don't need you to be my parent. I'm not dependent on you, not when I am a skilled hunter. These instincts, this mindset, this attitude, it's not selfish, it's self-sufficient, and is based on self-preservation. And when it comes to being selfless, in the truest sense, cats are unable to fulfill this role. Being selfless is a bit too complex for the feline mind to handle. As a whole, cats rarely display outward feelings for others, other cats, other animals, people. Shy of the mother cat, caring for her young, that's about as close to selfless as felines can and will ever get. When we think of a selfless act, it's often mixed with some level of sacrifice. Ultimately, you are concerned more with the needs and wants of others than you are your own needs and wants in that given moment or given time. Example, you're running late for an important function, something business related, family related, a date, late for a basketball game, you're going to watch a game. You are already running late, but then you see an elderly woman struggle to cross the street, struggling to bring groceries from her car to her front door, so you stop and you help. This, in its basic form, is an example of being selfless. Not only did you cater to someone else's needs, you helped them, and you also sacrifice your own time and your own wants and needs in order to help someone in need. The elderly woman, in this case. And now there's just no way you're making the ball game, the date, the business function. You'll never get there on time, but you were selfless in sacrificing something that was important to you in order to cater to someone else. Your cat, well, they could show affection to you if you are on the couch sick, perhaps, and feeling a bit under the weather. They can be a good companion in that moment, but that's about as far as it goes for the most part. It's also important to realize that it's almost impossible for your cat to rarely sacrifice themselves for you, the true act of being selfless. That's highly unlikely. In truth, if a cat is by your side during your time of need, it likely stems from that self-serving mindset. I need this person to get better so they can pet me, so they can feed me. Another thing to remember, and I touched on this earlier, cats are hunters and they are also prey. As a predator, being selfless would serve as a conflict of interest. If a cat sees a meal, the cat will take it. The feline will never pause, feel sorry for the rodent, and then in a selfless act, spare the rodent. Nah, not really going to happen. And speaking on the selfish side of things, when taking a meal, well, it's not selfish. When you're both predator and prey, the act of eating in this example is one of self preservation, the act of being self sufficient. Cats are cats all the time, and they have no internal image of how the outside world views them, and they have no desire to fulfill some type of perceived or preset reputation. They merely exist and do what they do out of instinct because that's just how they're wired. If cats are truly selfish in any way, it would simply be that felines are always true to themselves regardless of what's going on around them. So much of the way that humans behave involves looking forward to the big picture or taking in the big picture as a whole. We often think about how our actions in this moment will impact the days to come. That is often the difference between grown adults and small children. The ability to think about the short and long term consequences of our actions and our decisions. In the grand scope of life, most of us carry morality with us. We have our set beliefs, our principles, and the general pursuit of not only goodness, but the good life for ourselves and the people around us, our friends and family. Of course, this is where the divide truly lives between humans and felines. Your cat isn't sitting on your sofa pondering the future, and if the actions of today will impact what happens next month. Your cat isn't striving for a better life moving forward. Your pet isn't in some grand pursuit of forever happiness. Your pet lives in the now, and they're constantly in search of how to improve the present. What are my needs? Are they being met? That's about as deep as it gets for the most part. Survival of the fittest is the name of the game, and although it's not a game that cats agreed to and signed up for, it's a game they know they have to play. And self will most always come first in the feline world because it has to. Before I close the book on this topic, I would like to share a story that does blur the lines, and this story is one that I'll probably think about and ponder for the rest of my life. And to date, it's the only time from personal experience that I've ever seen an adult feline do something that truly bordered on pure selflessness, a selfless act. Many years ago, my senior cat Burl, who has since passed away, at the time of this event, he was probably 9 or 10 years old. It was a Saturday night in November, and he was roaming my backyard. Eventually, Burl came with that rat-a-tat-tat on the back door. I didn't think too much of it, wasn't even sure it was him at first. A few minutes later, I heard the sound at the front door. This time I was able to confirm that it was Burl, and after going outside, not seeing a thing, I just let him be. Well, to make a very long story short, this continued 5, 6, 7 times, many times. Tap on the door, check things out. Tap on the door, check things out. The visual here, just to paint a picture, is Burl going from the backyard to the front yard, backyard to the front door, backyard to the front yard and the front door, rinse and repeat. Eventually, I went to the backyard, and there was Burl, and there was a huge possum. A rather mean possum, I must say. Before too long, the coast was indeed clear and all was well. Selfless? Yeah, to this day I've never seen anything like it. Burl saw the possum in the backyard. If he was fearful and anxious, all he had to do was leave the yard. He didn't have to tell me about anything. If his safety, true selfishness, was the name of the game, he could have just looked after himself and left. But the fact that he not only alerted me, but did so numerous times before I came outside to see and confront what he saw, that essentially let me know that he was looking after me. He was like, hey, there's something in the yard that you need to know about. Why he wanted me to know about the possum, I'll never truly know, because in the game of self-preservation, Burl could have easily left the yard, and that would have been the end of the story. The fact that he kept coming back to get my attention when the situation didn't involve me, that's a head scratcher. In that moment, on that night, Burl was selfless, and I don't think I'll ever see a cat behave that way ever again. It seemingly went against every textbook and research paper concerning feline behavior. That's for sure. To the audience of Senior Cat Wellness, this is a very complex topic for sure. Allow me to ask, have you ever seen your cat behave in a way that you would consider truly selfless? Did your cat make a sacrifice for you? Your thoughts, your stories. The comment section, as always, it's all yours. If you enjoyed today's content, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd certainly love to have you as a member of the Senior Cat Wellness family. And until next time, thank you so very much for watching. And I will. Talk to you later.